Okay, so this is my thought on the Kona lean. Um, a lot of stuff happens out there. Obviously, when there's muscle breakdown in the quads and everywhere else, your body's trying to shut it down. The core stops holding up and supporting because there's nothing else going on. So I've been doing these kind of functional strength work exercises. Some of them I just made them up, and I think what I'm trying to get at in each one of these exercises, and there's three basic ones that I'll show, is to get as much of the front and the back of the core working at the same time. Because if you think about it, when you're running, you're you're you've got this going. The glutes are going when you're pushing back, but then you've got to stabilize somewhere in the front at the same time, because otherwise everything gets sloppy. And I think that's kind of where part of the lean can come from. So instead of isolating, let's say, just the front or the back, or even side to side, these are kind of designed to try to help get the front and the back to activate at the same time and to put a lot of load on it and then fatigue it really quickly. And again, it's simple. This is like very rudimentary. This is just like the beginning genesis of what I'm thinking about as far as how to get people strong enough in this area so that when everything else breaks down, they don't start to get that kind of lean either forward or sideways. And it only takes two bits of equipment. You got your swim stretch cords, and these should be ones that, as you'll see, the exercises are going to provide you with enough resistance to do something. The other is to have a bar that you can hang from. Like I'll show you this. This will go in my door jamb. And the key on this is that your grips are going to be parallel to each other instead of like this. And a lot of this has to do with because we're trying to teach people how to run. So, you're running like this. You don't run like this. You don't run like this. You run like this. And so, as you'll see when you're hanging, it really gets your spine in the right position. And it also, as things tighten up, it's in the running motion. Okay? So, now beware. I'm going to do this without a shirt, not to highlight my six-pack abs or my big pecs, but just to show you kind of what muscles, give you hopefully a better idea of the muscles that are working when I'm doing this stuff. Okay? User beware. Here we go. You stand on the swim cords and you're going to be pushing up and out, not directly above your head, but out. And as you're doing that, you're tightening both the abs and the glutes as much as you possibly can. And when you do this, you push up and then you push up a little more and then you push up even more. And you're really trying to contract that lower ab right along the line between the two hip bones and bring it as close to your backbone as you can and lifting up with the upper part of your abs there, the very bottom of your rib cage. This is just doing some basic squat move. The idea here is to engage the glutes at the very top, keep them very, very activated. You can do sets of 10, 20, 30, 50, 60, whatever you want. It's not a strength move, it's an activation of the glutes. And then at the end of that, you're going to go back into the full body push with the cords. Again, it's out in front of you. If it's directly above your head, it becomes an upper backish move. This is tightening the abs and the glutes at the same time, as tightly as you can, the lower abs especially, and the glutes. Next is going to be working from a hanging position. This is kind of the warm-up side of it. You're just going to be coming up, getting that mid-ab, and then you're going to start to work the sides. And as you do that, you can really feel, here we are coming up, you can really feel one side then the other. This is the hardest part, and sometimes in the marathon, is that you actually fatigue in the ability to lift your legs up. And then that becomes a whole challenge. That's an area that's very hard to work. This really gets it. And then rotate back and forth, going from side to side. This really gets all that side structure in there that is very hard to hit. Okay, this is kind of the warm-up. I'll show you the second part in a moment here. So in the second one, you're going to actually pull yourself halfway up. So you're actually engaging the entire back, and then you're doing all the same moves. And this really seems to activate everything that you need when you're running to be stable, because everything's involved right here. Your entire body's involved. And when you're running, your entire body is also involved. Same moves, middle, left, right, and then rotating back and forth. You won't be able to do as many on this, obviously. The final move is a plank with some leg extensions with it. And it's very different than if you're on your knees. When you're obviously anytime you're on the plank, you're engaging your abs. This is kind of just opening up the hips, and then you're going to really use those glutes to kick as high as you possibly can. That right glute and the left ab are working at the same time. This is running at its best. One side in the back, the other side on the front. This is extremely good for stabilization of the entire core area as you're moving through the run. Another thing that all this is doing is it's really tightening that whole area where your diaphragm works. When your diaphragm fatigues, so do the stabilization muscles because they're all connected. This works them all together, and as you do this, you're going to find that you just don't get the same fatigue from actual breathing, and that the stability stays in there the entire run. There you go. What do you think?